Hi everyone, welcome to Chef Shelley's Kitchen. I have an entree today. Boy, super simple. Of course, you know, my shows are about finding recipes that are simple, delicious, and healthier. And so certainly this one meets all of those criteria, but it's especially simple. So what we have here is actually turkey sausage that I've taken and just sliced in very thin pieces, as you can see here. And what we're going to do is, I've already heated up my pan here. All we're doing is going to brown this, okay? So I'm going to put this in the pan here and I'm going to work to brown it. So as it's browning, what I'll also do then is we're going to let it work its magic. Then what we're going to do is we're going to add sliced onion and garlic just to the meat. Once this cooks a little bit, now we're going to add our cabbage. So let's go in and put the lid on here while this works to brown, and let's make some room here so that you can see what we're going to do with the cabbage, okay? So we can be using our time wisely. So I actually already started, I've cut up the cabbage for the most part here. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to just show you how I'm slicing it so that you can get a sense. Kind of while that's browning, let's make sure heat is even on there. So all you're doing is you're just slicing it. I like a lot of cabbage, so this is the totality is about half of a head of cabbage is what you're going to use. Now for the turkey, because I'm trying to have more vegetables than meat, it typically comes in a package of 2, and so I use 1.5, and then obviously I can use the second half once I start on the next dish. So we've got the cabbage here. Let's actually get our bowl. And the nice thing too that I'm so excited about is that some of this cabbage that's already in the bowl actually came from my garden. So you will probably remember that I was growing cabbage and Brussels sprouts and collard greens, and I've been able to enjoy all of it. So I'm going to just kind of rinse this nicely. Again, some of this has already been taken care of. I'm just going to rinse kind of the part that's on the top. And one of the things that is so important when you're cooking the cabbage is you're actually going to retain some of this water. You want this water to actually be in there, okay? So again, if you make sure you're rinsing the entirety of the cabbage, and I had some already in here prior to, so we're good to go. All right, so we're gonna just kind of shake it out a little bit so much won't go on the counter while we continue to work on our sausage. So let's go back here. Let's kind of toss this around. And notice I actually didn't put anything in with the sausage in terms of oil or butter or anything like that. What we're gonna do now, and again, you're just browning it. Let's go on and add our garlic. Okay, this adds just a really nice flavor to it. Garlic almost adds great flavor to anything you put, except something sweet. Can't imagine those two going really well. And in addition, let's go on and add our onion. This is actually a half of an onion. If you want more, guess what? I always tell you, make it your own, right? So we're just going to kind of saute this a little bit here, just like so. And certainly what happens with the sausage, I mean, inherent, there's some kind of form of liquid in it anyway. So we're going to just toss it around like that. And we don't have to cook the onions kind of completely. You're just kind of making sure that it's kind of brown, because what's going to happen is we're going to be adding the cabbage. It's still going to continue to cook, okay? So it's looking really good. I think what we'll do is, just so that you can get a picture of this, I'm going to ask my cameraman to hold this up so we can maybe get a little bit of a close-up so you can see just how delicious that is looking, okay? Looks really good. Again, you're just simply browning the sausage, and you've got your onions doing its own thing. Certainly you've got the same thing with the garlic. Okay, we're good. All right, so let's return it to heat. And you can do this really kind of on medium heat. There's no big rush, but again, part of it is I'm helping you to see just how incredibly simple this dish is. So that's kind of worked its way. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna add some butter. So the butter is really not so much for the sausage and the onions and all of those things. It's really meant for the cabbage. So I want to kind of get that on the bottom. And now what I'm going to do, now that that's on the bottom, is I'm going to go on and add my cabbage, okay? So add as much as you would like. This family, this household loves cabbage. And this just makes for such a wholesome dish. I love it, love it, love it. And then the last thing we're going to add, I'm going to just try to put all of this in here, put the lid on it, and then we're just going to give it time for it to cook. You know, I've made cabbage on a number of different other episodes, and so you know this is how I like to cook cabbage. I don't like cooking it in water. You know, that's just not what I think is the healthiest way to do it. All right, so we've got that going on. Let's go on and add some pepper to the top here. We're going to be very generous with our pepper because we've got a lot of cabbage, and we definitely want, I'll probably add a little bit more even. So let's add our salt. Again, we don't need as much because we have the meat that has some salt in it as well. Okay, so just going to press that down a little bit. Okay, we're going to put our lid on, and then we're going to let it do its thing. So you're not going to keep it on for very long, but medium heat. We'll come back when it's close to being ready, okay? Let's do that. Okay, we're back. 5 minutes. That's really all that it's taken. So you're going to take your lid off here, and one of the first things you want to do is just kind of make sure you're stirring it around. Hopefully your water has evaporated, and again, you haven't added any, it's just what you use for when you clean your cabbage. And of course I'm going to show this to you again. We're going to add some more pepper because remember we had so much in here, and you'll see also just how it was filled to the top, and now obviously it's not. So that's why you want a generous portion of cabbage, okay? Because cabbage does in fact shrink down. But this is ready, good to go. I'm going to get a close-up of this, and then of course we're going to sample it as well. But you can see just how delicious this looks. Again, this is 1.5 pieces of the turkey sausage. It's plenty for us. If you want more, certainly you can add the whole thing, okay? So hopefully we've got a good view of that so you can see. And now let's take a sample. Let's do that. Just take a little bit here on our plate. And we better, I've turned it off, but we better move it because we don't want it to overcook. All right, so this is how delicious it looks. And again, as I said, super, super, super simple. And I'm especially thankful for this recipe because I get to use some of the veggies that I grew in my garden. So let's have a taste. Delicious, delicious, delicious. You saw I only put a little bit of salt on it. That was for the sake of the cabbage. It's seasoned just beautifully. So I won't be rude and continue eating this, but I want to thank you for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please click on the little subscribe button. Love to have you come back. I come out with a recipe every other week. And as I mentioned in the beginning, something simple, delicious, and a healthier version. So thanks again. Tune in, certainly like us, and share it on your social media platforms. Bye-bye.